Welcome everyone to the How to Stack Gies Business Credentials webinar today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kate Deering. I am a coordinator at Gies Online Recruitment and Admissions. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Casey Jones, Associate Director of Recruitment and Admissions, and Amy Simpson, Coordinator in Recruitment and Admissions. Super excited today. We are also joined by one of our current student ambassadors, Keisha Craig Otley, and I am going to introduce her in a few minutes. But mostly I'm excited to talk to you today about the stackability options with all of the learning that we offer here at Gies Business. As people slowly join here, we'll give them another minute or so to gather. But I did want to point out this QR code that is on your screen. You may have noticed that. Feel free to scan this if you'd like myself or an admission counselor to reach out to you to discuss your goals and understand if one of these credentials that we talk about today from Gies Business is right for you. You can just open your camera and scan that code and you will be linked to a short form to fill out. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to get rid of this transcription thing on my. So within our agenda today, we are going to talk about Gies's stackable design. We'll talk about the learner journey steps, including the application process, what credential you will earn, and the cost of each of those steps. We'll hear from Keisha a little bit on the student experience today, and then we'll have time at the end for a Q&A. So throughout the presentation today, please add your questions to the chat and Q&A feature, and Casey and Amy will be answering those along the way. And then, as I said, we'll have time to answer many of those towards the end of our presentation. Before we get started, though, I did want to check in on a quick poll. So if you look at your screen, I'm curious what has been holding you back from pursuing graduate credentials or graduate education up until now. What is your hesitancy? So I'm going to leave this poll up here for a minute for you all to fill out. It looks like some of you are a little nervous about the cost and also the return on investment. So we're definitely going to cover some of these topics today. While you are finishing that poll off, I did want to bring in our ambassador today, Keisha Craig Otley. Keisha, we're super excited to have you here. Do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Sure. Okay, so I'm Keisha Craig Otley. I joined the program in August of 2021. I live in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's really been a great experience to me so far. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but for me, cost was certainly a factor, as well as finding a program that fit with what I wanted to pursue. And this program touched all of those points and really made it, what's the word I'm looking for? It made it something that I can pursue. So I'm excited to talk to you all about that a little bit.
Keisha, where did you start your journey in continuing your education and your learning at the graduate level?
Right, so I had come to a place where I was trying to figure out what was next and whether pursuing studies was in fact one of the things that I would pursue. And I'm someone who's subscribed to Coursera, and this email came to me one day, and it was for a specialization in a course called Strategic Leadership and Management, which was the area that I was very interested in. So I thought it really odd, so to speak, that this thing just popped up in my email. And so I started just looking at that. But meanwhile, also looking to see what programs were available out there that I could pursue. But when I started kind of digging into this particular specialization, it was like a treasure trove of other stuff, including an actual MBA program, as well as the structure of it being exactly what I needed, which was kind of mind-blowing for me because I was comparing it to other programs, other MBAs specifically, but based on the areas of focus that I wanted to pursue, this program did that. So yeah, it was quite mind-blowing for me. I would say if you ask my family, they would tell you. But yeah, so it started with a simple email and then just following a bunny trail.
All right, well, thanks for sharing where you started. We are going to talk about some of those options today. And so everything that we are going to really dive into today is included within Gies Business Online. Whether you're interested in learning a single skill or earning a full degree, Gies' stackable online programs can help you reach your goals. Speaking to this stackability, I read an article the other day in a digital magazine, University Business, where the president of a well-known university was speaking about higher ed learning and where it's moving. He talked about what is heading out of date is the notion that a college degree is the end all. He feels that the future is to become a master learner. Moving forward, he talked about accepting all types of learning, like formal learning, unstructured learning, personalized learning. I found this really interesting in that this continuous learning concept and having many different like stackable options is what Gies has built, and hopefully will continue to add options to in the future. So let's talk about the Gies Business Online model. It is made up of three main qualities. Gies Business is flexible, meaning there's no travel requirements, there's no added expenses above the tuition. It's completely online, including all course and group work. It's paced also to fit your needs with 8-week terms where you can take one course or two, depending on your schedule. Gies Business Online is stackable. Our credentials and online programs stack, and they all work together. You can take a single course for upskilling or stack that course into a certificate for credentialing. And then you can apply that certificate towards a master's degree. So this unique stackability really allows you the option to test drive a course if you're not quite ready to dive in, or if you really enjoy the experience, you can build from there until you decide that you're ready for the full degree. So I want to dive a little deeper into this the stackability of Gies Business. And we are going to talk about all of these options here in a little bit, but each credential builds into the next. So for instance, you could start with 2 Coursera MOOCs, and those will stack into a non-degree Illinois course. That non-degree Illinois course stacks with 2 additional courses into a graduate certificate. And then finally, that graduate certificate could stack into an I-degree like the IMBA, the IMSA, or the IMSM. All of these options complement an existing credential. All of these options allow for the development of new and targeted knowledge. And then lastly, the stackability from these credentials is outcome driven. And by that, I mean that you're going to see career impact with each stackable step. For instance, you could use a new skill set that you've learned in one of these MOOCs in your current job. Or perhaps you take a series of 4 credit courses in a graduate certificate where this could enable you to lead your division on a path to maybe interpret some data differently within your company. Or maybe you complete 2 graduate certificates and take a promotion to now manage a small team within your company. And then lastly, as Keisha, she's in the IMBA program, maybe you start your own business after you complete your IMBA. So my point here is that you can impact your career with any of these different Gies credentials that we offer. So this slide speaks a little bit about the Gies learner journey, and this is what it would look like if you took part in every step. Excuse me. You could start with a Coursera MOOC that we are going to talk about in this next slide. These give you specific foundational knowledge in a skill area. You could then take that MOOC knowledge and take an Illinois non-degree 4 credit hour course led by our Gies faculty and earn transcript credit from the University of Illinois. From there, maybe you really enjoy taking that graduate level course and you decide that you would like to master a specific topic, like strategic management or accounting analytics, where you would complete 3 4-credit courses and that complement each other, and then you would earn a graduate certificate. Now you would be skilled in a specific area and have mastery of that topic. And the last step, hopefully you love the format and the structure of the Gies courses, and you decide to stack that course or that graduate certificate into a master's degree. So this slide just really speaks to that all of these possibilities are included within your Gies learner journey. We offer so many options to expand your learning and take on only what you can handle at that time. So Keisha, I know you started with a MOOC on your own. And you did talk a little bit about what that looked like, but what did your learner journey look like, and why did you pursue like the next step?
Yeah. So like I said, I started with one of the Coursera courses known as a MOOC, and it allowed me to figure out what this specialization was about, because I was interested in that area of study. And the MOOC basically outlines what courses the specialization outlines what courses are a part of the specialization. So I decided, okay, I would choose the one that I was most interested in, which was leadership and teams. And from there, I thought, okay, this lines up with a lot of things I had been exploring in my own head, but it just reaffirmed a lot of things that I had already felt. So following that, I thought, okay, so then let me try another MOOC. So basically what happened was, I think I got through about 2 or 3 of the MOOCs of the specialization before deciding, okay, or rather realizing that the specialization was part of a larger program, which was the MBA, the IMBA. So for me, it was a case of, I need to get more, I need to let this work count towards something. So that led me to applying directly to the IMBA program. So what ended up happening, I think I started those MOOCs in about February or March of 2021, applied to the university maybe in May or June, and I was starting my degree in August. And what was really great was that the material I had already covered was going to be counted towards my degree program. So it made learning on my own time count for something, and it also allowed me to pace myself differently and start the degree program with kind of like a head start, so.
Mm-hmm. That's the great thing about taking a MOOC ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive into those MOOCs a little bit more. And by MOOC, we mean a massive online open course. That's what it stands for. These are non-credit bearing courses that you complete, as Keisha said, asynchronously on your own time. They offer specific career aligned training, like a couple of the Coursera MOOCs that we offer here. One is Foundations of Everyday Leadership, or Developing a Winning Marketing Strategy. Once you complete that, you will earn a digital certificate that you can share on social media. You will enroll in these courses or these MOOCs on the Coursera platform, and then you can audit these for free, but if you would like the certificate at the end, those costs start at $39 per month. So what is a MOOC made up of? It is made up of pre-recorded videos that are created by the University of Illinois professors. You will have some quizzes, some reading assignments, and some peer evaluations. These are all done on your own time. These MOOCs can stand on their own as a digital certificate, or as Keisha did, you can stack these 2 MOOCs into an Illinois 4-credit course. Each Illinois 4-credit course typically has 2 MOOCs built into the course syllabus. Think about the MOOCs a little bit as think of it, it's your foundational material in the course, but we also often refer to them kind of as your virtual textbook in the Illinois course. When you earn your MOOC certificate after completing a Coursera course, you will then be able to use that progress in your Illinois 4-credit course. Once admitted into Illinois for a graduate level course, that progress will be migrated over and you will not have to repeat that MOOC. Of course, you are going to want to refer back and review the lessons as you add on that high engagement learning from the Illinois course. The next step of the Gies learner journey is the Gies non-degree course. A non-degree course combines the two MOOCs, as we said, and also adds in that high engagement Illinois component, where you'll engage with the faculty and classmates every week. It has a simple application process with a requirement of a bachelor's degree. And the tuition for Illinois courses is noted in this last bullet point here. One IMBA or IMSM course runs around $1,280, and an IMSA accounting course runs around $3,400. There's a little bit of a difference in price there because our accounting courses cost a different cost than the non-accounting courses. So all of our Illinois courses have that MOOC foundational material that we just talked about, but they also have a high engagement component. The high engagement material builds upon the MOOC foundational material. It's going to give you the real world scenarios and projects to pull through those concepts that you've learned in the MOOCs. So every week you will have a 90-minute live class on Zoom where your professor will give their lecture. You'll also have some small group breakout sessions within these live classes. They're offered at several different times during the day to accommodate all of our global time zones. And then your faculty is also available for office hours, which is an excellent resource where you can discuss current assignments and have some discussions with your professors and your TAs. And then don't forget to, you have all of your fellow students as an excellent resource as well. So just to recap, the Coursera component and the high engagement component are both combined for your Illinois 4-credit course. So we talked about taking a Coursera MOOC and we talked about a non-degree course. And now if you combine 3 Illinois courses, you can earn a graduate certificate. These are IMBA, IMSA, and IMSM courses that you will earn transcript credit from the University of Illinois and a recognized certificate. There is a brief application that includes a bachelor's degree with transcripts, a resume, a brief personal statement, and an English language proficiency test results for some of our international students. These are stackable into an I-degree, or they can stand on their own. If on their own, a graduate certificate will be recognized as a domain mastery of a topic. We currently have 2 graduate certificates that we offer: strategic leadership and management and an accounting data analytics. And as you can see on this slide, there are 3 courses included in the strategic leadership graduate certificate. And then there are also, there's 2 courses in the accounting analytics certificate, as well as you'll have a choice of 8 hours of elective coursework. These will both certificates will count as 3 courses towards your degree requirement if you decide to apply to one of the Gies master's degrees. The application process is a little more thorough to apply to a master's degree, but know that the master's degree will build upon your graduate certificate work that you have already done. So who would these be good for? A strategic leadership graduate certificate would be great for an early or a mid-career professional who aspires to a leadership position, or perhaps a leader who just wants to strengthen their management capabilities. Or lastly, maybe you're a person that has a very technical background, but you don't have much management experience. This would be a great option for you. The accounting graduate certificate would be good for an accounting professional that's just looking to update their skills. Perhaps you are a business leader without an accounting background that needs that foundational accounting material to succeed. Or we have many learners that are preparing for the CPA exam. So this would be a great option for you as well. This is just a few of the different learner types that would benefit from obtaining one of these graduate certificates. So both of those graduate certificates are stackable into the 3 online master's degrees that Gies offers. The IMBA, the IMSA, and the IMSM. I am going to give you a brief overview of each of these degrees in a moment. But right now I was gonna throw it back to Keisha, because Keisha is currently in the IMBA program. My question is, what has the IMBA fulfilled for you so far that was different than just doing the MOOC or completing a MOOC?
Yeah, so I mean, the MOOC is great and it's self-paced and all of that, but certainly wanting to go after the degree, what I like about the IMBA program is that even though it's online, it's very interactive. I would say that the experience of being in an online MBA program, for me, I get more out of studying at the university on campus, comparing my undergraduate experience and my online MBA experience. I have access to more students. I have direct access to professors, the live sessions, you break into groups for discussions during the sessions. You have group work that connects you with people from across the world. There are just so many value points for me that one, I would not have gotten if I had just, continued to work asynchronously. And comparing it to even physically being on a campus, I think there's a lot more that I'm able to get from this online program than being at a school physically.
Okay, that's excellent. We are going to dive into the IMBA here and share a little bit more information on that, just an overview. And this is a Master's of Business Administration, the IMBA. It is a full, I think I just saw one question in the chat that you will earn your Master's of Business Administration. It does not say online anywhere on your transcript or on your diploma. So this is a degree in business administration. This degree costs right around a $23K. Each credit hour costs $320, which makes, as I said before, a course is right around that $1,280 mark. We do have a pay-as-you-go model though, so you only pay for the course that you're registered in at that time. The IMBA takes 24 to 36 months. It has a lot of flexibility in that you decide what your pace is as you move through the program. You can take one course each 8-week term, or you can be on, well, that would put you on the 3-year timeline, or speed it up and take 2 courses every 8 weeks, and that would enable you to finish in just 2 years. We also understand that everyone's lives are super busy and things come up at work. Maybe you have a large project or a family health issue or something. You would just work with your advisor if you needed to actually take a term off. We have currently 4 start dates for the IMBA program: August, October, January, and March. And to complete your MBA, you will complete 72 credit hours. This will include 6 specializations. And so of these 6 specializations, 4 are going to be your core courses. And then 2 specializations will be on focus areas or your elective choices. Each of these specializations is made up of 3 courses. All these numbers can be a little bit confusing. Don't let that stress you. We're happy to explain this to you if you have any other questions. But each specialization has 3 courses that work together to give you expertise in that topic. So in total, you will complete 18 courses for your MBA. The focus areas are really nice in that you can cater your MBA to your interests and your career. So you will have choices from some amazing options like global challenges in business or digital marketing. There's many choices. And then lastly, in addition to the 6 specializations, you'll complete 3 capstone projects. 2 of those will be on 2 of those specializations that you finished. They bring together everything that you have learned in that topic. And then also before you graduate, you will have a month-long capstone project, a program capstone project, where you will work with a group and a professor to finish off your degree. So this slide just talks a little bit about some facts that we've gathered from some of our graduates from the IMBA program. We talk a lot about the professional experience that our students bring to the classroom. It's amazing. And one measure of the quality of this network is the number of Fortune 100 companies that our students work at. 70 of those are represented in the IMBA program. And then more than 1,000 total employers are represented in our programs. So I do want to get you ready for some fabulous percentages coming up also on this slide. Many business schools measure their job placement after graduation. At Gies, where virtually all of our students are full-time working professionals and already have jobs, 61% of those change jobs or earn a promotion while they're actually in the program during their IMBA, which is great. And then also at a time when many professionals have come to expect just that 2% raise in a good year, Gies IMBA graduates tell us that they have received an average raise of 22% during and immediately after their IMBA. This is an instant and concrete return on investment that's really hard to match. And then lastly, some feedback we've collected from recent grads speaks to the quality and the return on investment of the program. 96% rated the education as excellent or good. 91% would recommend the IMBA to a friend. And I think this last stat is most important. 95% of the IMBA students apply what they have learned to their career. That takes me kind of to another question that popped up in the poll also, return on investment and impact on your career. Keisha, can you give us an example of like what your journey and what the IMBA so far, how has it affected your career path and your learning?
Right. So I started the program as a communication professional. And the reason for doing so was because I wanted to make a greater impact at the organizational level, so that when I made recommendations as a communicator, I could also speak the language of the business leaders, so that I wasn't just speaking from what they may call soft and airy-fairy, but that I could make the connections and the business case for, taking certain communication routes. But being a part of the program, I think it's really opened me up for more opportunities, so that I was sharing some time with Kate that I actually see myself on a trajectory towards starting my own business, which basically will be consulting with organizations to effectively use communication. But now I'm equipped to not just understand, the language of organizations, but really understand what's valuable to them and make those connections and make that business case for how communication is used, how to engage employees being the most critical component of any organization. They're the most important stakeholders. They're the ones who help the organization to achieve their goals. And, I'm only a year into the program. So I actually plan to pace myself for a 3-year stretch. So immediately you begin to see, how things connect. At least for me, it allowed me to see how things connect and how I can use the knowledge that I'm gaining to apply to myself, whether I start my own business immediately or whether it is I join an organization to do so.
Okay. That's great to hear that you're already seeing the effects. And oftentimes we hear, even just on a daily basis, someone will have, attend a live class on Monday and then have a meeting on Friday where they get to actually implement what they learned in that live class. So that's really great to hear. The next I-degree within this Gies learner journey, we have the IMBA, and now I'm going to share a little bit of information on the Master's of Science in Management, or the IMSM degree. It's made up of several different learner types, this Master's in Management degree. We have non-business backgrounds that are looking to develop a leadership and management base. We have people with business backgrounds that are pivoting to include management maybe in their skill set. And then lastly, we have highly technical backgrounds that are looking to just broaden their business knowledge and bring in some of those leadership and management skills. The MSM degree costs just right around 11K, and you can finish this degree in just 1 year. This degree does have the same flexibility as all of our degrees do in taking 1 or 2 courses each 8-week term. Totally paced by you, and just depends on what your work and life schedule looks like at that time. The Master's of Science in Management has 4 start dates: August, October, January, and March. And you're going to complete 36 credit hours, which is 9 courses for this degree. 6 of those are required courses, and then you have the ability to choose 3 electives that are either in a predetermined elective track, or you can choose any 3 electives that we offer. One last thing that I'm super excited to share today too is the university just approved that the IMSM will now be able to be stacked into the IMBA. We are super excited about this, and we are going to have many more details on this fall. So our last I degree is the Master of Science in Accountancy. This program is going to build expertise in the fundamentals of accounting, financial reporting, audit and control, and then also U.S. federal taxation. So whether you are a mid-level professional looking to move into that C-suite position, or you're brand new to the field, you will be well positioned to advance your career and increase your earnings potential after completing the IMSA program. The tuition for the IMSA is 20 to 28K, right around there. This is a range because of your course choices. You will have some options to choose some electives within your degree, and based on what you choose, either a non-accounting or an accounting course, you will have a little bit of a different tuition. Students complete the IMSA program in 18 to 36 months, depending on your course load. We only have 2 start dates for the IMSA program, and that would be in January and August. In order to complete your Master's of Science in Accountancy, you will complete 32 credit hours, which is 8 courses. 5 of those are required, and then you do have some electives to choose from, where you can also choose a predetermined data analytics track, or you can just choose any 3 electives, as long as one is a non-accounting elective. So that was just an overview. We can dive way deeper into these I degrees, the IMSM, the IMBA, and the IMSA, but we've given you a lot of information to digest and how you can stack these Gies credentials. Ultimately, though, it's your path that you can take at your own pace. We've talked about starting with a Coursera MOOC and then maybe trying out a non-degree course. You could stack 3 courses into a graduate certificate, and then apply to earn your master's degree with those 3 courses already complete. Gies is all about giving you options to become that master learner that we talked about earlier in the presentation, so that you can continue to challenge yourself and impact your career and your lifelong learning. So after hearing about all of these ways that you can stack Gies credentials, I'm curious, which offering are you most interested in? Take a look at this poll real quick that should be popping up on your screen. What of these options are exciting you most? And which one do you want to learn more about? As you fill that poll out, I'm going to share the results here in a moment. But I hope that we were successful today in showing you just the many possibilities there are to learn from Gies Business. I am going to pause here after this poll for some questions. It looks like the chat and the Q&A have been super busy, which is excellent. And I do want to encourage you, if you have any questions for Keisha about the student experience or how she transitioned from a MOOC to her IMBA, feel free to put those in the chat in the Q&A as well, and we will throw those over to her. So let's see, it looks like many of you are excited about the IMBA degree. I'm going to end that poll right there, and I'll share those results just so you guys can all take a look. The MSM, MBA, and there's many that are quite interested in the graduate certificate. So excellent. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right here. All right. As I said, I noticed that the chat and the Q&A were super busy. Casey, were there any like super popular questions or that were asked quite often that you want to kind of just explain?
Yeah, thanks. I think a couple of our attendees were jumping the gun, so you covered a lot of them, Kate, in your presentation. I think a couple of things, that were going through my mind is a lot of our attendees today joined from Coursera, maybe just clarifying they've taken a course on Coursera. Now they want to take, maybe one of our degree programs. How does that look different? Have they earned credit hours, or what's the advantage of maybe taking that MOOC early? And I'd be happy to answer it or turn it over to you, Kate.
You can go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so if you've completed coursework on Coursera, you're really getting what we call the foundational component of any of our 4-credit courses or any of our degree programs. So we often refer to Coursera as our virtual textbook for the course. So pre-recorded lectures, peer-reviewed assignments, self-assessed quizzes, and all of that is going to, again, lay a great foundation for your 4-credit coursework. So taking just a course on Coursera doesn't earn you any credit hours from the University of Illinois, but it does give you a jump start on your degree requirements in completing that foundational component. You will still have to take the corresponding high engagement component of each of those courses. That's where we're going to layer on those live lectures, interactions with faculty and fellow peers, graded quizzes and exams, group projects. That's what's going to ultimately earn you credit hours and either a campus graduate certificate or a graduate degree from the University of Illinois. I know we're popping up with a lot of questions, so I'll go ahead and flip back and forth. I know we missed a couple of questions as well, so if you have them, feel free to drop them in the chat again. I know a couple that we talked about or saw often was admission requirements. So to take just a MOOC on Coursera, just a non-credit course, there are no requirements. You simply sign up and enroll and you're ready to go. You can really do that at any point because those are asynchronous courses. You could start a course today. If you're interested in doing a campus graduate certificate or a degree program or even a non-degree course here at the University of Illinois, we do require a minimum of a bachelor's degree. These are graduate level courses. For our IMBA program, we also require 3 years of professional work experience, a minimum of 3 years of professional work experience. There's no work experience required for any of our graduate certificates for the IMSA program or the IMSM program. For our degree programs, we do have a minimum GPA requirement, typically of a 3.0 on a US scale. Our graduate college does provide similar requirements for countries outside of the US or credentials outside of the US. However, we do fully holistically look at your application. So maybe you had not such a stellar GPA, but you have 15 or 20 years of work experience now. We're going to take that into consideration. We also have something called a performance-based admissions track. So maybe you're a little short on those requirements. Sometimes we recommend students into that performance-based admissions track to allow you to take a couple of courses, prove to us that you are ready for the degree program in particular, and earn your self-admission.
I see one question in there for Keisha. Keisha, someone was wondering how much time you put in to the program on like a weekly basis.
Okay, so that varies depending on the course. So the quantitative stuff beats me every time. So I spend a lot of time on those courses. So if I had to kind of put a time to it, maybe about 15 or more hours per week. And that's because that's not my area of expertise. I'm a communicator by profession. And so getting those numbers in here takes some time. I think the quantitative courses, they still require the Coursera component. I'm able to get through a lot faster. So I would say certainly the Coursera content could take me, let's say, 8 hours, which would include assignments, because you have pair assignments to do. There will be some quizzes. And of course, if you add that Coursera component to the high engagement, you tack on a couple more hours there, because you may have an individual group assignment to prepare and submit for the week.
And are you taking 1 or 2 courses at a time right now?
I mix it up. So because basically a semester is broken up into 2 8-week segments, I would do 2 and 1 or 1 and 2, but I would mix, if I'm doing 2, do a qualitative and a quantitative. And then when I'm doing the 1, try to do one that I feel would be maybe a quantitative one that may kind of require all my attention. I would plug those in for the single courses.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's a great, you have the opportunity to flex your schedule throughout a degree program. Maybe you have a busy time at work, you have a busy time with your family or other commitments. It's always great to start out with 1 course, see how it goes. Those first 8 weeks can be some of the most challenging for some students, getting back into the swing of school, learning the online platforms. Maybe it's been quite a while since you did your undergraduate degree, and then you can always ramp up over time if you feel that you have the hours to commit on a weekly basis. A couple of questions in the chat about scholarships. We do offer a limited number of scholarships for our degree programs. The deadline to apply for scholarship opportunities for our fall 2022 cohort is coming up quickly on Thursday, June 2nd. That application will be embedded within your degree application, so be on the lookout for that. The University of Illinois also offers pay-as-you-go tuition models. So you're just going to be charged for your tuition as you enroll for courses. So not a lump sum due upfront by any means. If you're a working professional, I definitely speak with your company or organization about any opportunities for tuition reimbursement. That's something that we hear frequently. Students are able to complete our degrees very often at little to no cost to them if their employer provides that tuition reimbursement. Troy has a great question here that I'll address about both accreditation and then ranking. So Gies College of Business, and then of course all of the programs that fall underneath it are AACSB accredited. That's the highest accreditation any business school can receive. We will continue to pursue that accreditation, no questions asked there. They have to approve that, but we have absolutely no concerns. In terms of rankings, however, we have chosen not to participate specifically in online MBA rankings. There are a number of articles out there talking about that decision. We'd be happy to provide some of those for you. We really just felt that the ranking criteria didn't adequately address the things that we were looking for, both in prospective students, sometimes in career outcomes. We have individuals coming in from a variety of different backgrounds, different geographical locations, different industries with different salaries represented. Again, more emphasis on work experience than the GPA or GMAT scores. So those are just a few of the reasons that we've decided not to participate in those online MBA rankings. Again, happy to provide some literature that explains it much better than I ever do orally.
I see a question about international students, and I did just want to make sure all of our programs are globally accessible. Keisha is in the program. She's from Trinidad and Tobago. It's an international program. We include those students, obviously, and we have over 99 countries represented in our program. So that's what makes up our diverse learning environment, and you really are able to learn from different experiences and different educational backgrounds, and from people really from all over the world. So great question.
Yeah, Keisha, would you mind hitting on that a little bit again? That's a concern we often hear is, how do I network in an online program? How do I connect with fellow students? Am I going to feel, no pun intended, like I'm on an island? Can you talk us through that just a little bit?
Sure. This happens to be one of the things I really love about the program, because yes, coming into an online program, you may think that there's no opportunity to connect with anyone, but that is so opposite from what happens with this program. I would say because it's online, the university has gone through great lengths to ensure that the student community is connected. So there is a platform called Workplace, and that is a very, very, very vibrant community. There are groups of persons, whether they are, so of course you can arrange groups by the course that you're pursuing a given term, but then there are groups of persons based on interests. And then if you had a question about something, you can't find some resource, and you're like, guys, where do I find, you pop that in on Workplace, and loads of people are responding to you to tell you where to find it, and might even, hit a link for additional resources. So it's really, really very interactive. And I found that students are really, really very willing to share and to support, which again, you would think, I'm a student off wherever I am, and how am I going to connect with my cohort? But I mean, you connect with your cohort, the previous cohort, the incoming cohort. It really, really is very vibrant and very, very supportive community.
Thanks, Lisa. And that's going to be both in and out of the classroom. If you're pursuing a graduate certificate or a degree program, there's going to be built-in group work in any of your courses, which is a valuable asset. But certainly if you go on to a degree program, those opportunities outside the classroom truly are endless, both as a current student and then continued as an alum of the University of Illinois.
All right, there's still a couple more coming in, but I feel like we've gotten to most of our questions. Amy, do you see any that we missed by chance, or Casey?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we had another question. I was accepted into a degree program a couple of years ago, but didn't enroll. Can I start with a stackable course? Absolutely. You always have the opportunity. If you want to do a 4-credit course, as a non-degree student, it is a brief application, but it's pretty straightforward. Probably can be completed in honestly about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we get a decision to you really quickly. If you're pursuing, a graduate certificate or a graduate degree, it's a little bit more in-depth application process. And from there, it looks like at least for the time being, we've got our questions answered.
All right. Well, I'm just going to jump right back to one more screen here in our presentation. I wanted to kind of flash the screen here at the end. But before we do that, I'm sure everybody's super excited, one more poll, just so that we can learn a little bit more about how you're feeling today and when we might see you again. If you check out your screen right now, it should be popping up. Which of these options describes you best? So as you're filling that out, I did want to reiterate, I think Casey touched on it. Our next deadline is coming up on June 2nd for the IMDA, IMSM, and IMSA programs. There are many ways also to connect with us, but here's a great place to start on this screen. You have my email, you have our general Gies Online email address, and then also here's that QR code again. If you would like us to reach out to you, just scan and fill that short form out, and we will get right back to you. So it looks like there's many of you are interested, but not quite ready to apply, and quite a big group planning to apply here in the next year. So that's super exciting. I'm going to end that one and sharing those results in case you're curious. So I do want to thank everyone for being here today. As we wrap up, I wanted to thank Keisha Craig Otley for taking the time to share her experience in the program. Thank you to Casey Jones and Amy Simpson for working the chat here today. So many great questions. And again, if you have any other questions, just reach out to us. We have a whole team of admission counselors. We are all here available to you to answer those questions and help you figure out if this which Gies credential is the right fit for you. So on behalf of the Gies team, thank you for coming, and we hope to see your application soon. Bye.